Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Welcome to the Sit, Walk, Work podcast, a show about paying attention. My name is Dominic and I'm your host, and today is a guided meditation. And what you can expect is that the practice will open up with a brief recap, followed by the actual practice itself. If you find today's episode valuable, please share with your friends and family, and feel free to leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. The show will begin after the following chimes. And so tonight's practice was centered around just kind of working through. I had a couple objectives. One, I wanted us to get into the breath and into the body. So we started first with just seeing where we were coming into practice and making note of that. Then we worked on the breath and following the in and out of the breath, moved into the sensations of the body, and really picked up on something we did last week, which was our soft belly breathing, where we used our breath as a matter of releasing tension in the body. And so I brought that back for just a small touch. And then we moved from the grounding nature of breathing and focusing on the body into doing a bit of mantra work. So we looked at the phrase, be still and know that I am, or be still and know that I am. I was like, what did I say? That is it. And then we brought that phrase down in stages. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. And we got to observe how that landed in our practice as we focused our mental attention there. At the end of the mantra work, we invited in a bit of gratitude in honor of the day, and just because gratitude is something we rarely let ourselves focus on. And so we welcome that into practice, and then closed out our final practice with a bit of merit, offering that practice out to the world to try to help not only ourselves, but others as well. And so with that, let's go ahead and begin the practice. Seated or lying down, hands, put them somewhere where they're not going to do a lot of movement. Take a nice breath in, make sure you can, and if it feels like your breath is restricted or constricted, find a way to adjust your body and posture so that you can breathe evenly and fully, so that you can use your breath as a part of your meditation to help guide you through it. And then, once you've got those couple of things figured out, the next thing I'd ask you to do is to decide if you're going to keep your eyes open or if you're going to close them. Either way is fine. If you keep the eyes open, I ask you to just kind of look out in front of you at something that actually doesn't move and steady your gaze on that. And then if the eyes are closed, well, they're closed and turned inwards, and you can focus on what is happening in the body and the mind today. When the eyes close, you start to notice with your attention a variety of things happening. You might feel your body, you might feel your breath, you might hear sounds, you might smell things in the air or feel the temperature of the room that you're in. These are all components we know as our sensory information, but they also are the kind of the tools to shape our experience from moment to moment. And they become the anchors of our practice to help us kind of focus our attention. So when the eyes initially close, all of that information can tend to start to resonate a little louder and a little differently. So the first thing I'll ask you to consider today is kind of what is the general feeling tone? What is the atmosphere? As I had a teacher say to me once, "What's it like in there for you today?" Kind of let yourself notice that. When you're focusing on any of the objects I'm directing you towards, there's a quality of attitude that you might notice that you're taking when you do this. I ask that for a practice, see if you can keep a friendly attitude towards the things that you're witnessing in your practice. And this is a bit of friendliness towards yourself, kindness towards yourself with what comes up, and a bit of curiosity. As you notice the feeling tone of your body and you are tracking your attention moving between the objects that are pulling your attention, you're taking a seat in the way that you physically took a seat and paused to be here in this Sangha, this community. You're taking a mental seat to be the witness of all that arises. And we'll begin to bring our attention into the flow of our breathing, getting real curious and close to how we take a breath. So, what I mean by that statement is notice as you take a breath in, the way the breath fills up the lungs and expands the diaphragm as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, the way the breath contracts. Following the breath through its complete cycle in its entirety. And following the breath, the mind can often wander. In meditation, certain distractions, we call them hindrances, can begin to color our experience. Common ones, especially when starting out, a little bit of doubt about whether or not you're doing it right. That's that's one that usually shows up, often accompanied by a bit of restlessness, trying to get ourselves to settle. The might feel agitated. And so that attitude of friendliness I invited you to try can be useful in balancing that out. And so if your mind is distracted at any point in time, simply return it back to the breath with kindness, compassion, and start your focus over again. This action of paying attention, having the attention pulled in other ways and redirecting it. This is the mental equivalent of exercising physically, building your concentration one step at a time. But it's also an opportunity to learn about what happens when you focus, to feel the way the breath moves your body. Like there's this internal massage happening as the breath kind of oscillates like a breeze passing by. And we often start with the breath as our anchor because the breath is always available. It is always with us. And it's a tactile way of creating a sense of groundedness, of rooting us in the moment, in the present. And because the breath moves the body, you can start to feel sensations in your body. And so, as if you were just taking the attention dial and turning it up a little bit, widen your attention space to now include how your body feels, how your body responds to your breath, the density of your body, your bone structure, your muscles, the place where your body interacts with the surface that is supporting it. Begin to let those sensations interweave into your attention and follow them the way you've followed your breath thus far. In the way that the breath expands and contracts, and in doing so, creates tension and then releases tension, you can simultaneously potentially notice the way the physical body does the same. Or there's parts of your body that are a little more tense, a little tighter, a little more restricted. And there are other parts that are less constricted or have less sensation present. Again, this game is about observing and dropping the need to do this in a right way or a wrong way, but rather just see what is true for you in this moment and then in the next. Feeling the body and the breath in this way, this relationship between these two components that are always available, always a way to ground us. They're a subtle thing that we can do at any point in time. We can direct our attention inwards to notice how our body feels and feel the way our breath is moving. And in some ways, they can begin to help us even release tension. Simply letting your attention notice the places where you might feel constricted and breathing into those tense places and then using your exhale to kind of soften. And it doesn't immediately change things, but it becomes a way of working with ourselves that is kind and gentle and supportive. And all the while that we've been observing the breath and feeling into the body and using the tools of breathing to touch into the places of constriction. The mind has been subtly or maybe even directly providing its commentary in the form of mental distractions, conversation. I like to call it background commentary. But the mind is just another object arising, just like the breath, just like the sensations you felt. Your thoughts, they come, they go, they shift, they change, and you receive them. So the practice you've been doing can apply to those thoughts in the exact same way. And so for the next part of practice, we're going to begin to focus on a mantra. It's a word, a phrase that is used in meditation. And it's used in the same way you've been holding attention to the breath or holding attention to the body. You hold attention to the phrase and you simply repeat it. And if the mind wanders, you start over again. Maybe the phrase rides on the pattern of your breath. So as you inhale, you say the phrase and exhale, let it go, and or vice versa. So the phrase we're using for practice today is be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am. in saying the phrase, you can feel the way the phrase lands in your body and reactions to it. Again, just other objects arising. Be still and know that I am. You can even begin as the rhythm sets in to shortening the phrase to be still and know. Be still and know. Finally, bringing the phrase down to simply be still. Be on the inhale, still on the exhale. You can begin to release the mantra, the phrase, and observe how your body feels in response to focusing your attention on the words as you kind of move through them. And with that curious, friendly open sense of practice and attitude. Just take a couple minutes to welcome in a bit of joy or gratitude for yourself. Couple ways that you can do that is consider something you've done for yourself or for others recently that felt good. You might consider something that someone has done for you, or something that you're grateful for, maybe something that you used to wish for that now is present in your life, or for the fact that on a day when most people would not be sitting down to meditate, here you are. And in the way you've observed everything else today, notice what it's like to invite that gratitude directly in. As we begin to bring our practice to a close today, may the work that you've done here today, or the merits of this work, not only look to serve you, but may it carry beyond you, out and into the world, to help everyone you interact with and beyond. When you're ready, slowly begin to blink your eyes open, invite in the sensory information visually. Kind of notice where you are as practice comes to a close. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I invite you to check out my Substack, where we are building a community of like-minded individuals to discuss all topics related to the idea of paying attention. I hope to see you there. But until then, with metta may you be well.